If anyone in your home is taking amlodipine, Losartan, or Lisinopril, do not stop watching this video halfway through, because what we're about to share might be something even your own doctor never explained to you in this way. This video is only a few minutes long, but those few minutes could change the way you or someone you love manages their health for years to come. We're asking for your full attention right from the start, because if you miss what comes next, you might keep making the same mistake that millions of people are making every single day without even realizing it. Think about this for a moment. Every morning when you take your blood pressure pill, do you actually know what that pill is doing inside your body? Most people assume that simply taking the medicine is enough, and that everything else will sort itself out. But the reality is very different. Amlodipine, Losartan, and Lisinopril are medications that millions of people around the world rely on every single day, and if they are not taken the right way, the very medicine meant to protect you can slowly start working against you. Let's start with a short story. There was an older man who took his blood pressure pill every morning without fail. His numbers looked fine, he had no complaints, and life felt normal. But slowly things started to shift. He began feeling dizzy from time to time, tiredness crept in more than usual, and occasionally his head would spin when he stood up too quickly. He brushed it all off as just getting older. Months later, during a routine checkup, his doctor discovered that his potassium levels had become so imbalanced that his heart rhythm had started to become irregular. All of this happened because of one small habit he repeated daily without realizing its impact. So what was that mistake? Many people take their blood pressure medication and assume the pill alone is doing all the work. They don't pay attention to how much water they drink, they don't watch their diet closely, and most importantly, many stop going for regular checkups. This kind of carelessness might seem minor on the surface, but over time, it can cause serious damage that quietly builds up without warning. Let's take a moment to understand how these medications actually work inside the body, because this will make everything else easier to follow. Amlodipine works by relaxing and widening the blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more easily and reducing the strain on the heart. Losartan and Lisinopril work a bit differently. They control certain hormones in the body that are responsible for raising blood pressure. All three medications are highly effective and have helped save countless lives. But their real benefit only shows up when they are taken at the right time, in the right dose, and exactly as the doctor has instructed. Now let's talk about the mistake that happens most often among seniors, and it is one of the most dangerous ones. When someone's blood pressure becomes normal after starting medication, they often feel relieved and start thinking the medicine isn't as necessary anymore. Some people cut their dose in half on their own. Some skip a day here and there. And some stop taking it altogether, thinking, I feel fine now, so why do I need this? This is one of the riskiest decisions a person can make regarding their health. When blood pressure medication is stopped suddenly, the body goes into a kind of shock. Blood pressure that was being controlled by the medicine can spike rapidly. Doctors refer to this as the rebound effect. During this phase, the risk of stroke increases, pressure on the heart rises sharply, and in some cases, the situation becomes serious enough that the person needs to be rushed to the hospital. The most unfortunate part is that all of this often happens simply because someone decided to stop their medication on their own without informing their doctor. There's another important factor that very few people are aware of. These medications can also affect important minerals in the body, particularly potassium and sodium. People taking Losartan or Lisinopril sometimes experience a rise in potassium levels, while those on amlodipine may notice swelling in their legs. If these changes aren't caught early, they can lead to irregular heartbeats, increasing weakness, and a steady drop in energy levels. The tricky part is that these early signs often feel so minor that people simply dismiss them as ordinary tiredness. Something else every senior should understand is that these medications can interact with other drugs as well. If someone is also taking pain relievers, certain supplements, or any over-the-counter medicine, that combination can either weaken or intensify the effect of their blood pressure medication. In some cases, this mix can put extra strain on the kidneys, or cause blood pressure to swing out of control. That's exactly why doctors always emphasize sharing every single medication, supplement, or vitamin you're taking, no matter how unimportant it might seem. Diet plays a much bigger role in this than most people realize. If someone taking Losartan or Lisinopril regularly eats salty food, the medication's effectiveness drops and blood pressure becomes harder to control. Similarly, eating large amounts of potassium-rich foods, like bananas or certain fruits, without consulting a doctor first, can also become dangerous. These habits might seem small and harmless, but their effects build up silently inside the body over time, until one day they become impossible to ignore. You might be wondering, if these medications are so essential, why does all of this sound a little frightening? But this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. People who understand their medication well, who visit their doctor regularly, and who pay attention to their diet and hydration tend to benefit from these medications for years without facing major complications. But those who are careless, who stop their medicine on their own, or who ignore the changes happening in their body, are the ones who eventually run into serious trouble. Now let's talk about the warning signs that should never be ignored. Feeling dizzy, especially when standing up too quickly, is something many people brush off as just old age. But this can actually be a sign that blood pressure has dropped too low. Similarly, swelling in the legs, sudden unexplained weight gain, or difficulty breathing are all signs that should be reported to a doctor immediately. An irregular heartbeat or an unusual tightness in the chest are also signals that should never, under any circumstances, be ignored. Here's another interesting point worth understanding. Many people assume that medication works the same way at all times, but the truth is that the body's response to medication can shift depending on age, season, and overall health. During hot weather, when the body loses more water and salt through sweating, the effect of blood pressure medication can become stronger, leading to dizziness or weakness. In colder months, blood pressure naturally tends to rise slightly, which can change how much medication someone actually needs. This is exactly why doctors recommend regular checkups, so the dosage can be adjusted according to the season and the body's current condition. There's another factor especially relevant for seniors. As people age, kidney and liver function naturally slows down. This means medication that used to leave the body quickly may now take longer to be processed. If someone continues taking the same old dosage without checking in with their doctor, the medication can build up in the body and become more potent than intended. This is why doctors sometimes adjust dosages as people get older, and why this kind of adjustment should never be done independently. So what is the best way to avoid all of this? A few simple habits, when followed consistently, can prevent most of these problems. The first and most important step is to never change your medication schedule on your own. Don't reduce the dose, don't increase it, and don't stop taking it unless your doctor specifically tells you to. The second step is to check your blood pressure regularly at home, so any changes can be caught early and reported to your doctor right away. The third step is to inform your doctor about every medication, supplement, and vitamin you're currently taking. The fourth step is to reduce salt intake in your diet and only consume potassium-rich foods after consulting your doctor. The fifth and most crucial step is to take every small change in your body seriously. Dizziness, weakness, swelling, or an irregular heartbeat are all signs that deserve immediate attention. These small habits are often the real secret behind living a long and healthy life. One more thing worth mentioning here is that every person's body is different. One person might respond perfectly well to amlodipine, while another might find Losartan more suitable. This depends entirely on a doctor's diagnosis and lab results. That's why you should never take someone else's medication just because their condition seems similar to yours. Every body has its own unique chemistry, and medication is prescribed according to that specific need. There's another point that often gets overlooked. Many people believe that visiting the doctor is only necessary when something feels wrong or when symptoms become obvious. But when it comes to blood pressure medication, this kind of thinking can actually work against you. These medications affect the body in ways that aren't always visible from the outside. You might feel completely fine, while subtle changes are happening internally in your blood that go unnoticed simply because a checkup wasn't done in time. This is exactly why doctors recommend regular blood tests, especially for kidney function and potassium levels, even if a person feels perfectly healthy. Another interesting aspect is that many seniors take their medication at different times. Some in the morning, some in the evening, and some whenever they happen to remember. This inconsistency can gradually reduce the medication's effectiveness. When a doctor sets a specific time for medication, it isn't just a random number. It's based on the body's natural cycle, the time when the medication works most efficiently. If the timing keeps changing day to day, the medication level in the blood fluctuates, sometimes causing blood pressure to spike and other times causing it to drop too low. This fluctuation over a long period can quietly affect the heart and the blood vessels leading to the brain. Alongside all of this, it's important to understand that mental well-being and stress are closely connected to blood pressure as well. Even if someone is taking their medication properly, constant stress, anxiety, or emotional strain can prevent the medication from working at its full potential. That's why doctors don't just focus on medication alone. They also emphasize getting enough sleep, staying lightly active, and maintaining mental calm. All of these factors work together to make the medication truly effective. Let's look at a real-life example that makes this even clearer. Imagine an elderly woman who takes Lisinopril every day, and one day she attends a relative's wedding. The food there is extra salty, the weather is hot, and she barely drinks enough water because she's busy the entire day greeting guests. Later that night, on her way home, she suddenly feels dizzy, her head spins, and she starts feeling unwell. All of this happens simply because her body was already under stress that day from excess salt, low water intake, and the heat, and the effect of her regular medication became stronger under those conditions. This example is shared so you can understand how small everyday changes can directly influence how your medication behaves. Another important point that people often overlook is that blood pressure medication isn't just about correcting a number on a screen. It's about protecting vital organs like the heart, the brain, and the kidneys. When blood pressure remains uncontrolled for a long time, it puts constant pressure on the blood vessels, forcing the heart to work harder and potentially affecting blood flow to the brain. That's why it's not enough to simply check if the number looks fine. It's equally important to make sure everything inside the body is functioning the way it should. Many people also ask, if I have to take this medication forever, doesn't that weaken my body's natural ability to manage itself? This is a fair question, but doctors explain that in cases of high blood pressure, the body's own regulation often isn't enough on its own, especially as we age or as blood vessels become stiffer over time. In these situations, medication supports the body rather than weakening it. The real weakness comes from taking medication incorrectly, not from taking it correctly. The goal of everything we've discussed here isn't to scare you, but to make you more aware. These medications have saved countless lives, and when taken correctly, they are completely safe. The real problem arises when we take them simply out of habit, without understanding what's actually happening inside our bodies. Awareness is the protective wall that stops major problems before they even have a chance to begin. If anyone in your family, your parents, grandparents, or anyone you care about is taking Amlodipine, Losartan, or Lisinopril, please share this information with them. Sometimes, one small piece of information shared at the right time can prevent a much bigger problem down the road. This video was made purely to raise awareness, so that you and your loved ones can make more informed decisions going forward. Before making any changes to your medication, or before taking any new step, always consult your doctor first, because only they can review your complete medical history and tell you what's truly best for you. Small habits create the biggest changes in life. Taking medication at the right time, going for regular checkups, and listening to what your body is telling you, these are the habits that form the foundation of a long and healthy life. If today's information turns out to be helpful for you or someone you love, then that alone makes this video worth watching. If you found this video helpful, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so more videos like this can reach you.